What is the weirdest reason someone stopped dating you? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. I was too nice. Briefly dated a guy and he said it was a turn-off that I was super friendly with staff at restaurants or grocery stores, gladly holding doors open for others, smiling when I pass people on the street, that kind of thing. Apparently, he wanted someone who valued themselves more, and that being nice like that is advertising I'm a doormat. Bullet dodged. Story 2. We were different religions. She went to Jesuit camp over the summer and came back and said everyone convinced me to dump you because you're Greek American, and I'm a Christian. Needless to say, I was dumbfounded. No one there realized that your heritage nationality wasn't a religion, as I was also a Christian. Story 3. This happened to me recently. We were planning to move in together. I'm in different city, and the last thing he told me was that he loves me. When I went back to my place, he sent me a message saying that he feels awful of the way he is treating me. He has been thinking about his life every day, and he is not a happy person. Also, he realized that he is not in a position to be in a relationship. I tried to reach him and to show all the support. He ignored everything. Till this moment, I still can't believe what happened and why he gave up on everything. Is this his depression, or he is just an Story 4. I told him that I do a basic check of my dates' names in the provincial crime database. It just searches for public files. I was a 24-year-old girl, living alone in the middle of a big city, so I always checked out the guys before getting into their cars. This came up naturally, and the guy flipped out about how I was a narc and how I can't be trusted. Weirdly, his name pulled up nothing, not even a parking ticket. Reply. I had a girl very timidly ask me for my last name before meeting. She had already given me her address to pick her up. I wasn't insulted, but I was a little worried that she didn't do that step first. Any guy who's offended by this is at best an idiot. Story 5. I was an EMT. We went to see Twilight New Moon. A guy a few rows ahead had a seizure. I had them stop the movie and call an ambulance while I got the guy out of the aisle, so he wouldn't hurt himself against something. They refunded everyone and canceled the show. Never heard from my date again. Story 6. I bought her a talking troll doll. Remember the troll doll fad in the 90s? She hated them, but I had no idea. I saw one that spoke some trendy phrase she used a lot and bought it for her. She broke up with me later that week and said she hates troll dolls and just can't see me the same way. That's all right. Her dad and I are still good friends 30 years later. Story 7. I don't know about the reason being weird, but a guy I went out with only a couple times broke up with me right before our date because I hadn't slept with him yet, and he found a girl who put out faster than I did. I was genuinely relieved because sometimes the trash just takes itself out. A couple months later, he had the audacity to hit me up and ask if I'd be interested in dating again. Story 8. This was in high school, summer between 11th and 12th grade. I had a girl that I'd been dating for a couple of months tell me, mid-date, that she didn't like that I got more attention than her when we walked into a party where we both knew people, so she broke up with me. Story 9. You're a smart and independent woman, and I hate that you're more intelligent than I am. You intimidate me, and you probably won't get along with my family. I still don't know if he was f***ing with me, but he actually used these words to break up with me. We were casually dating for a few months. He was a well-educated lawyer from the UK. I was baffled. Reply. There are some men who make it a lull the way to adulthood before they're confronted with the fact that not all women are as helpless as their mothers. It's just that their fathers prefer relationships on easy mode. Story 10. He didn't want to tell me. We lived together. We had lunch one day, and later that day he came home from work and said, I want you to leave by the morning. There is no main reason. Just a few different things that I don't want to tell you because you'll get hung up on them. Still don't know why, 4 years later. He still messages from time to time to hook up, but when I ask him to explain, he still refuses. I think it's really weird. Story 11. I had a friend who wanted kids. Her longtime BF had been adamant about not wanting kids. Then she found out she had a condition that would make it a lot harder for her to have kids. Possibly impossible. She took the news hard. So did her BF. He still didn't necessarily want kids, but he was really upset the choice had been taken out of his hands. They argued because she thought the only silver lining in the situation was that he didn't want kids anyway. They briefly broke up. He told her he was They got back together. 8 years later, they're married with 2 kids. Reply: I kinda went through this with my wife. She really wanted kids, and I was not really wild about it. She wanted to have them young, and I told her that if we were to have kids, I had a few strings attached. I wanted us to have a house in a decent area, have decent jobs, and be somewhat financially stable before we started thinking about it. She was not happy. I was not going to bring any kids into this world that were going to not be greatly provided for. We have 2 now. We got together at 19 and had our first one at 33. She's always had a sore spot for not having them earlier. But no way was I gonna have a kid grow up the same way I did. I had a pretty good childhood, but we just didn't have much. We didn't starve, but there were some long stretches where we alternated dinners of mac and cheese and next hamburger helper. I only got some stuff at Xmas and birthdays. Lower class living. There was nothing wrong with it, but I wanted my kids to have what I didn't have and not want for anything. Story 12. As far as I know, all the times I've been dumped have been for legit reasons. However, there is one that stands out from the rest of that long and distinguished list. At my high school, we had these speakers overhead for announcements and such, but they would also play these really loud beeping tones whenever the bell rang. We're walking down the hall one day right after school let out, and she decides that she's going to dump me. It just so happened that we were standing right underneath one of these speakers at the time. I just don't think we should be together anymore because bong, bong, bong. Off goes the final warning bell for bus riders, and she trots away with her face in her hands, deeply moved by whatever it was she's just said. It's been 27 years, nearly to the day, actually, and I still have no idea how that sentence was supposed to end. I never asked her about it because, being 15 at the time, I just played it off like I didn't care and didn't want to look bad by going back and asking her why. So I've just kind of accepted that it's one of those unsolved mysteries that I'll just never know the answer to. At this point, not knowing is almost more fun. Got a cool story to tell on Reddit out of the deal. Anyway. Story 13. I'm an artist. This guy and I were fairly compatible and I could see us building a solid life together. But the sexual chemistry was not there at all. I didn't have the guts to tell him that though. I mentioned, over dinner, how much I liked glitter, as an artist, to add texture to my work. He immediately expressed his extreme distaste for glitter, even saying how he wouldn't allow it in his house. I saw my chance. Okay? I saw my chance to not break a man's self-esteem and say how bad at sex he was. And I took it. I might have exaggerated my love for glitter, a little. But this man became teary-eyed as I talked about all the jars of various glitter I have in my studio. How you can't leave my house without glitter sticking to you. I saw all the love, all the admiration, all the attraction fade from this man's eyes. So he can go on and have terrible sex and not feel bad about himself. I relied on glitter. And it worked. I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I went home and used 4 different types of glitter on my next painting. Story 14. Because I haven't played Overwatch. We're both cosplayers. He loved Overwatch and wanted me to cosplay as Genji because he cosplayed as Hanzo and had this fantasy or something. I told him I have never played AoE. He went and found a Genji cosplayer he started having an intimate relationship with behind my back, while still dating me. Well, practically it was me who left. But let's say I took the hint. I guess it's alright, but the communication... Story 15. In the 2nd grade, Jared took me out for the 2nd date of my life. His mother took us to see the Big Green. On the ride home, she asked what church we went to. We didn't. The next day, Jared was being rather cold. When questioned, he broke it off. He said going to church was the only way to get Jesus in your heart, and that was very important to him and his mom. I didn't see much of Jared again until high school. He had gotten one of those dick piercings and wanted everyone to call him a nickname associated with it. I can't remember. D-ring or D-bag or something. Last I saw him, he was a total chode. Alright, folks, that's a wrap. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below. I'll see you in the next video.